Welcome to my channel to everyone who's new here and of course to those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Render, TAO, KAS and ONDO. Also someone wished a coin which is XMR. We will also talk about that today. If you also want to trade with cheap taker fees, then I can recommend you the crypto exchange mexc, which has a similar trading volume to Bitget and Bybit, but I already highlighted it here. The taker fees are far much lower than on the other top crypto exchanges, and on top of that you can save another 20% on those low taker fees if you use my referral link, which you can find in the video description. 100 pairs, 0 fees just on mexc, and here you can trade some popular altcoins without any fees on mexc. So let's get to Render. What I think for Render was, we have also said we can get up to $4. Okay, we went there. What we have formed now is a possible inverted head and shoulders formatation. Yeah, we see it for many coins at the moment, but this is a bullish pattern. So if we break the $4 to the upside, then we can expect a push up to $4.23 or even $4.30 for Render. What I don't like is that we might even have a bear flag. Here was the push to the downside. Then we get a consolidation within the bear flag, and we broke it to the downside. If we take the target of the bear flag, the target is going to be the $3.05. We also have, if we look into the past, here and rectangle, which also broke to the downside. Target $3.24. So what I think is, we also have a fair value gap down to $3, where I have put you here the circle. So we have 3 bearish signs getting us down to $3. If we go back into the 50 minutes chart, we have said we have an inverted head and shoulders formatation. It might be possible that we even break it to the upside, get a nice push even up to $4.23, $4.30. This might be possible if we break the $4 to the upside and afterwards sell off into the fair value gap, where we have 2 targets of 2 different chart patterns. For sure, if we get up, we would invalidate the target of the bear flag, but the target of the rectangle, which we had before here in orange, this is still ongoing. So for Render, I would be careful. It looks still short to me, but $4, that's going to be that is going to be very interesting if we break it to the upside. So next coin, TAO. We have said for TAO that once we break the $415 to the upside, we can get up to $445. This push here, I don't know. I have even looked into Binance, and in Binance it's not even listed. So maybe Binance took that out. This is, in my opinion, market manipulation. But on mexc, we went right into the $444. So basically, we got to the target. Yeah, I just take this here out. I don't count this as price development. So what we have at the moment, left shoulder, head, and we can form a right shoulder afterwards. So I think if the $413 breaks through the downside, then we should drop back into the $396. If we get here a bounce into our green trend line and we sell off, then we can expect a push to the downside. We have also set here this target that we have here a possible double top pattern. It didn't break to the upside, to the downside. So basically this chart pattern never got activated. Anyway, since we still have the chance to form a head and shoulders formatation, I will still keep that target on the chart, because this would be the target of the left shoulder. Target $376 if we break to the downside. But I want to see this price development where we get to 396 US dollar, get a bounce there. We don't have to go into the 415 US dollar, which is the green trend line, but we have to see some kind of a bounce. Yeah, it can even go over it. It can also close lower than that. It is okay as long as we see something like a bounce and afterwards a breakout to the downside. As long as we hold the 369 US dollar, everything is positive. If we lose it, then we can think about far lower prices for TAO. If we get for some reason a push to the upside, then the 440 US dollar are going to be very interesting for me if we break it to the upside. Because if we do, then I think we can get up to 496 US dollar for TAO. So let's get to KAS. I think for KAS, it is very difficult at the moment to say where KAS is going to go, because we have here on your left side in orange a rising wedge. This rising wedge broke to the downside. Target exactly 8 cents. Here's the target. We have also formed a head and shoulders formatation. If it breaks to the downside, target 7.95 cents. What I also see, and this is now the difficult part, in bright blue, it might be an ascending triangle. It might also be a falling wedge. So it doesn't matter for me in which direction we are going to break it. If we break it to the upside, which is currently the 8.5 cents, then I think we can fill the fair value gap, which is between 8.7 cents to 9 cents. The target of that falling wedge is going to be the 8.9 cents. If we break the blue trend line to the downside, which is currently the 8.2 cents, then I take the same length, because this can also be an ascending triangle, put it to the breakout point, target 7.8 cents. So if we break the 8.2 cents to the downside, then we have 3 targets, 3 chart patterns, which direct us into the area round about 8 cents to 7.8 cents for KAS. This won't be a problem, because if we sell off like this, then it can also be a double bottom pattern, which we afterwards break to the upside and can even hit the 9.5 cents. So let's wait for KAS. For now, it's not looking good to me, but we still have the chance breaking to the upside and fill the fair value gap, which is a bit lower than us. I think this is going to happen very fast within a few hours. So this is maybe a good possible day trade with nice gains. Up to the fair value gap, 2.3 cents, up to the falling wedge target, 5%, and up to the end of the fair value gap, 6% without leverage. So what about ONDO? I think ONDO has still some downside potential, but we have to see how it's going to form, because the target of that rising wedge in orange is going to be the 79.8 cents. What I also like to do is, since I think that we might have an inverted head and shoulders formatation, left shoulder, head, and here the right shoulder. How do I measure the right shoulder? I take the length of the left shoulder, that's the low to the resistance, and I put the same length to the resistance later, and then you can see 79.6 cents, where also the target of the rising wedge is. This can be the right shoulder. And what we get afterwards is, if we get here, for example, and we get a nice push to the upside and break over the bright blue trend line here, then the head and shoulders formatation is going to get activated. And then we can expect a push to the upside. at least in the length of one shoulder. Then we take it here to the breakout point. 87.5 cents is going to be the target if we get that price development. We can even get a bit higher because we have a fair value gap, even up to 89.3 cents for ONDO. If we, for some reason, sell off, wait, let me first clean up the chart a little bit. So, this one too, this one too, this one too, and this one too. So, for some reason, we are going to drop lower than this. Let's assume it. Then this can also be just a double bottom pattern, which would be bullish if we break to the upside. As long as we don't break to the upside, it's not bullish. Yeah, we just have then the pattern, but we need the breakout to activate that pattern. So keep that in mind. I'm still going to wait for my entry for a long position. 83.5 cents is the current breakout. Afterwards target 87.5 cents. If we break lower than the 78.3 cents, I will also put you here a price mark. Then we have maybe something else. We have already said that this here might be an inverted head and shoulders formatation. This is on the smaller time frame. What if this was the left shoulder? If we break the 78.3 cents to the downside, then I think we should meet the 74.7 cents, get a bounce here, and afterwards another shoulder. Then we have an inverted head and shoulders formatation on the bigger time frame. That's why I want to wait for breakouts, because we can still form any kind of bullish chart pattern with even getting lower prices in the chart. So I don't want to jump into a long position now. I want to wait for the 83.5 cents because we still have the chance dropping and we would just have another bullish chart pattern. So let's get to the XMR coin, which I think is interesting. If we go into the 4-hour chart, 4 hours is too much, 1 hour. So 1 hour chart. Then we can see in bright blue that we have a triangle. I don't want to count this as a bearish pennant because the target of the bearish pennant is most likely too bearish. A bearish pennant is this kind of formatation. We get a sharp sell-off. Then we get a consolidation within a symmetrical triangle. And afterwards we break the triangle to the downside. Then we take the target. The target is going to be the length of the whole push to the downside. I don't like it. Since the bearish pennant is also a symmetrical triangle, we can also take the target of that symmetrical triangle, and that's the spread of it. So we take here the spread of the triangle, put it to our breakout point. We got a second retest. No, we got one retest already, so we can put the length to the retest. Target at the moment is the $290 US. Put you here a price mark. Let's jump into the 50 minutes chart because I think here is something interesting. In my opinion, we have had here a falling wedge, which broke not here to the upside because we didn't get the retest, but here. Here was the breakout, here was the retest. I will zoom in and then you can see it. I have to move a bit. So here is the breakout, here is the retest, and we got the follow through. Oops. Target is going to be the 333 US dollar. We also have here a rectangle. So if we break the rectangle to the upside, which is currently the 329 US dollar, then we can reach up to 335 US dollar. That's the target of the rectangle. So we have two targets directing us between 334 US dollar to 334 US dollar and 50 cents. So almost the same. What is this going to be? The bright blue trend line is from the triangle. This might be just the second retest. We got here the breakout. We got here a retest. This can be the second retest, and afterwards we sell off. So if this is going to happen, if we get to 330, let's round it up to 335 US dollar. Then we just put the target of that triangle to the second retest point. Target then is 294 US dollar. So the target didn't even change a lot. It would be just positive if we break the 335 US dollar to the upside, and that's why I want to thank you for telling me to analyze XMR. If we break the 335 US dollars to the upside, then I think we have some good upside potential. Why that? Because if we go into the 4-hour chart, what can you see? You can see fair value gaps even up to 380 US dollar. Let me take out all the price tags now. So this green trend line is an upwards trend line. So if we break it to the upside, now I think I messed up it a bit. Let's get back into the 1-hour chart. So like this. So if we break it to the upside, then this is an upwards trend line. So if I do get here a nice long entry, then I can put my stop loss order lower than the green trend line. And if we keep getting up, then I can switch my stop loss order for higher prices, always lower than the green trend line. And then I would go for the fair value gaps. Like I said, up to 385 US dollar, 380 US dollar. How much is it going to be? To the lowest part of the fair value gaps, 6.5%. To the upper part, up to 15%. So I want to see the green trend line breaking to the upside, 335 US dollar. Let's round it up. If not, then the 290 US dollar is still the target of that triangle. So I hope that I gave you some valuable information today, and we see each other tomorrow.